Before we start, I really strongly encourage all of you to write your own scammer stories. Let's use this video to help each other know about more scams that is happening in the industry. Drop it down. Pay for listen AR. AR stands for Artist and Repertoire. A&R is a division and a record label that is responsible for securing new artists and responsible for releasing them later with the record label. By definition, they are paid by the record label, and therefore any respectable label actually don't let AR ask for money for listening tracks or screening for the new artists. But the scam goes this way. There is always one person that knows the AR of your dream label, and they first hype you up how good your tracks are, and they oftentimes ask for a price so that they can pass your track to the whoever person responsible in the label. How can you avoid this scam? If anybody asks you for money to send your track to your dream label's AR, just blacklist them and don't do it. This is how we avoid. Given the popularity of social media, this is by far the most common scam that you will face as a producer. I dig down to my emails and I found an example. Immediate red flag over here is these spaces in between. They are just inserting name after names, hence there's a space over here. They always start with something like this. We listen to your music and it sounds so good. They know that this is the Achilles spot for the producers. We want to promote your music on our 20 million followers network. We can post your track video on our Instagram page with more than 2 million followers. YouTube promotion include your track on our 4 to 5 playlist with hundreds of thousands of followers, and so on and so forth. But the biggest red flag over here is if you have more than 10 million followers, you will have no time go around, mail random producers and offer cheap discount. But social media marketing could be powerful. The safest way is actually taking your time, going through the different social media channels and spot the ones that has built a legit community around the genre that they are posting. And once you find these channels, they almost always have an email address. Reach to them, and if you have good music, I'm sure you'll eventually secure a couple of collaborations. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning platform where you can find thousands of different classes to learn from. For example, I have taken Premiere Pro classes, I have taken cinematography classes, I have taken lighting classes from Skillshare, and probably you have noticed that the quality of my videos went up quite a bit lately. And if you are wondering why Skillshare but not YouTube tutorials, the main and the most important reason is that in Skillshare you will find all the classes structured really well. That makes learning process quite engaging, and on top of that you will find a lot of side documentation so that when you are taking, for example, Photoshop class, you will find Photoshop files that you can train together with the course instructor, and that one is really helpful as well because then you can really do it hands-on and improve your skills. And other obvious reason is when you're focusing on learning and try to improve your skills, you don't want any ad breaks. And of course, Skillshare is ad-free. If you want to try it yourself and see if it works for you, check the description below. There is a link there, and the first 1,000 people who click the link get a free month of a trial for Skillshare. The second biggest scam is payola, or pay for plays. There are 3 things that can happen when you pay for a playlist position. The first one, you pay for it and all the plays that you are getting are from the bots. And the second one, you pay for it and you don't get any plays. And the third one is you pay for it and you get some organic plays. All these 3 options are against Spotify user agreement. Even we ignore this one, it's actually worse than you realize. If you get both plays on your artist playlist, it really messes up your algorithm. Spotify kind of works like a snowball. Every time you make a new release, you get new followers, and the next time when you release a new track, Spotify measures how much those new followers actually following your new track. If there is a lot of engagement, Spotify pushes your track even more. The problem with the bot plays and follows is that they are not real, so the next time when you release a track, Spotify algorithm thinks that there is no engagement whatsoever, and you are punished for that even though you have the best tracks. This is really typical. Biscuit Spotify playlist approved. They casually start as I'm a big fan of your music, blah 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 blah. And if you scroll down and take a look at the playlist, this one, for example, Summer Vibes, I don't have any track with the Summer Vibes, Discover Weekly for rock music. I don't make rock music. This is another one. Congrats, we have selected you for a free Spotify campaign. Get 20k stream, get 50k stream. This doesn't work this way. What is the safe way of finding good playlists though? Going to the artist page first. If you scroll down, you will see Discovered On. Try to figure out if there are playlists your music may also fit. Find find out the person here and try to reach it that way. But how can you guarantee that the playlist is actually organic? The free one, Kawasek.com, you can put any playlist that you have and it will generate you a rating. The other way of doing is a chart metric. Here you can say the change over time. Unfortunately, the free version only allows you for a month, but it is still good enough. If you take a look at this playlist, it lost almost 500% followers in the last month. I don't know how it even possible. No organic playlist will lose so much of followers in a single month. Other good thing to do, take a look at the location of your streams. If there is like weird distribution of the plays, definitely a big red flag. Also, you can try Submit Hub for submitting for the playlisters. I think they are trying to do their best to avoid fake playlisters there as well. Another very common scam that targets specifically beginner producers is label scams. How does it look? If you submitted your track to the labels and they return back to you and told you that you have to pay for master or album art or anything, run. There are two things possible. They either don't take their job seriously and try to put their cost on you, or the second option, they are just trying to scam you. If any label asks you for upfront payment, just avoid them. They are not worth it. And the second type of label scams actually not getting paid for your royalties. This is actually quite common. I even heard it with some of the medium-sized labels. They just ghost their producers and artists never get paid. This one is really hard to know, especially when you are beginner producers. So how to safely release with the label? The best thing that you can ever really do is just googling the label, just add a scam afterwards. You can also extend your search with not paid or not getting paid and see if there's any online discussion anywhere. And if you ever get scammed by any label, be vocal. Talk about it in Reddit or any other social media platform so label gets punished for what they have done. Paid blog posts. This one is a bit a gray area because they are actually legit bloggers who get paid to write about you in their blogs. However, the age of the blogs are long due. The blogs are more or less dead. In the very best case, you get your writing, but nobody really reads them. In the other cases, most of the time, they will just use AI and write up something for you and they just publish it on their website. And again, nobody really even know about it. How to avoid it? The best thing that you can do, taking a look at the traffic of the website. There are many free websites online, so if you see that there is no traffic at all on the website, just avoid it. Fake managers and agents. This is a more elaborate scam, and there are many forms of this. But most commonly, it goes like this. One day, you receive an innocent-looking email. The scammer either seduces you into thinking that they are well connected in the music industry, or they imposter someone that is well established in the music industry. Their modus operandi involves asking artists for money for stuff like submission fees, executive costs, and other fake expenses they come up with. I even heard that the fake managers actually try to convince the artist to sign an exclusive contract so that if the artist one day makes it, they have enough leverage to ask them for more money or at least use it as a blackmail against them. So this one is actually one of the worst type of scam that you can get into. How to avoid it? If you receive the message in social media, the first thing that you should do to check that blue mark. I would have said the Twitter blue, but that is gone now. But the best thing to do is actually always asking for the references, which artist they are managing at the moment. Try to connect directly with that artist. Producers often help other producers and let them know actually that guy is a scammer. If they are not giving any references, that is already telling enough. Just avoid them altogether. Paid work scams. This is one of the old school one and you still see this happening. It goes like this. A promoter mails you or connects with you and says that he has an upcoming event. The tricky part is everything looks legit until like the last moment. You receive a message from your promoter saying that you have to pay for something, look something happened, and at that point you are really invested. You really don't care about those small costs and you fall for the trap. And then when the day comes, you realize that there is no festival happening. And there's another version of this one. This one is a bit less scammy, but I think it is still not acceptable. In this version, there is really an event, oftentimes in a smaller scale. So you are gonna play before a big artist or before another name, but you have to pay a certain amount to play in the festival. I really strongly suggest you not taking something like this, because paying to play will damage your artist allies, but it will also damage music industry as a whole. How to avoid it? When you get invited to a festival, try to always see if the mail is legit. The rule of thumb, if they ask you money in any part of the process, that is the biggest red flag, and just cut the losses and continue with your life. And the final one, fake music agencies. One day you receive a mail looking like this. A music agency ready to promote your song because they believe in you. The problem over here is sometimes really happens. There are legit music agencies and they believe that they can promote your music. You can always discuss how good they are at promoting and if the money works, but at least they are not as scammy. But there are versions that they pretend to be a very good music agency, but in the end they do nothing. All they do is they just get you some bot plays. They even use some bots to mail you, giving you super nice feedback so that you feel like the promotion is working. How to avoid it? It's actually similar to the managers. Ask personally which references that they have. Take a look at their webpage. Try to contact some of the names that they are showing. If the producer have no idea what you're talking about, then you know 100% sure that agency is lame and fake. But if the producer has a positive experience with them, then you know that at least it is an option, and then you can actually value the investment and see if it can worth it.